So first, please briefly introduce yourself, your current profile, and what are you doing currently?
I have been an investment professional predominantly in the alternate investment side for a very, very long time. Total 37 years of work experience, of which 26 years in financial services. Practically everything in the alternate investment space only. I was part of the first PMS team of the first PMS house of this country. Worked in PMS industry for more than a decade. For last more than a decade, I've been working in the alternate investment space. Have done some interesting stuff in the international investments as well. I was also instrumental in popularizing EB5 investments in India. Just to cite one example, there are only 7 people with the title of due diligence specialist in EB5. I'm the only non-American in the world today as we speak in that space as well. Have been an investor in startups and angel investing and all since 2014-15. Did something initially in the initial years of startup, even before the word startup was defined by Government of India. We did something equivalent of Shark Tank kind of stuff at that time with some very, very interesting partners and all. So essentially, it's been all about alternate investments, is what I can tell.
So how was your early upbringing, your family background, and what values did you learn in your childhood about money which shaped your future orientation towards money and money management?
So to be honest enough, I don't think I have learned so much about money from my father. Usually, people learn this from family. I was an earning member of the family from my age of 16, so came from a humble background. My father was a lecturer in college, but one odd man out, and I respect him for what he did. He never liked money. So he would not take home the salary for the vacation period, saying that the period in which he is not teaching students, that money can't come home. Now, principles on one side we have seen at home being valued the maximum, but money was not a very important factor. And somewhere as I started growing and had to make my career, I realized that within the boundary of principles, money is important. And I did not start as a finance professional. I started as a software person. I worked in software industry for 11 years. I was instrumental in entire computerization of Rajkot Stock Exchange. The source code was written by me. But then I jokingly say that stock exchange environment and Gujarati blood, infection is bound to happen. Right? So it happened to me as well. Moved to financial markets, did merchant banking, then this PMS and all this journey. But once you got into financial markets via the stock exchange route or whatever, I started liking this market a lot better. Because I felt that there was a lot of mis-selling which was happening even at that time. Much reduced now, but it still happens. And if you're able to play a good role in that space, you possibly can mark yourself a little different. And then by luck, early mover into PMS, early mover into something else, then that momentum continued till the time I became the first wealth professional to operate out of Gift City now. And that's where I operate from.
Great. Sir, what lessons about money today you have learned? And it's general lessons for kids out there, families out there, people who are managing their money. So some general rules which you see that these are the basic rules one should always remember while they are doing their money management or advising somebody on how to manage money.
So pardon me for being an odd man out again in my thoughts here. I am one person who believes that if you can, and a lot of finance professionals will give a lot of focus on savings, that savings is very important and all. And I'm nowhere saying that savings is not important. But it's equally important to focus on your gross income, if you can manage that. Saving is a byproduct of what you earn.
Great.
And it's very easy to say that income minus savings equal to this and vice versa and all. Many times the realities of family life could be very different. Even though I may want to save, I may not be able to. But whatever you have, you need to define your risk profile the maximum. I give a lot of importance to risk profiling. And risk profile can change overnight. I don't want to get into it, but I had a major accident once upon a time, 2001 in the earthquake in Gujarat, which made a major change in my life. I said, now if I have survived this accident, I have a lot of confidence that God wants me to remain alive, and my risk profile changed overnight. Risk profile has nothing to do with age. It has a lot to do with your requirements around. It can be dynamic. I could be aggressive one day and I could be conservative the other day. So it's not static, which a lot of people believe. I don't believe it's a static number. But have your asset allocation in place is what I also believe, bases your risk profile. And if you are able to manage that, and if you are able to manage your cash flow, so again, I give a lot of importance to risk profile on one side and cash flows on the other side. The rest is very easy. And then you have a lot of wealth professionals who do great job thereafter. So
you've been interacting with so many investors at different stages.
I don't interact with investors at all.
B2B.
B2B, yes, I do.
Yeah. So what are the major mistakes you think a B2B investor makes while evaluating an investment?
So first, I will go even more macro.
Yeah.
I personally believe that the tag which all of us have now of a mutual fund distributor versus an RIA, I think somewhere in this entire game, the word wealth manager has taken a backseat.
Right.
I could be an investment professional. I am a wealth manager. I am not a mutual fund distributor. I could do 5 things besides mutual fund also.
Right.
But we have had this classification that you are either a mutual fund distributor or an RIA, which I think personally it's fundamentally wrong, because I could advise on 5 other things also.
Right.
I might have knowledge for me to do that.
Right.
But my card will still speak mutual fund distributor. So we are limiting the scope of wealth management by this nomenclature is what I believe.
Right.
I believe that it is wealth management which is core. Mutual fund distribution is a very important part of it.
Right.
But it's not everything about mutual
Right.
funds. If someone advises whether you should prepay your loan and do something else, it's not a mutual fund purview.
Right.
Right? It's a financial advisory that you are providing.
Right.
So why label this way and why not call wealth management?
Right.
Luckily enough, I am neither of the two, so it's very easy for me to be outside and speak about everything. I think somewhere, whatever the nomenclature could be, the thought process should be more holistic in nature in terms of being able to service the investor. Luckily enough, I am seeing a lot of people do that now. So I have no complaints against the industry any longer that way.
Great. In the last, I'll ask you to speak some words about the events you've been attending from American Academy.
So one thing I can tell you, I am seeing almost every time I am seeing marked improvement in terms of the quality of interactions and audiences that we see. So all kudos to you for that and your team. I will be very honest, I'll speak on both sides. One, you've been able to get excellent bunch of resources, for me excluded, for the audience to sort of get great insight in a given day. So that's a great job done. Probably I would love to see this being more holistic in nature going forward.
Right.
But you've been doing a great job otherwise. And very few people focus right from wealth management to legacy transfer and everything, which this event actually historically has been doing.
Right.
So great.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.